My Patreon supporters got to see preview images and work-in-progress shots of this figure as I worked on it. If you want to join them, all you have to do is donate even the smallest amount. The link in the description below. Hello out there, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for a guy I know only as Paulie from the contact on my Gmail account. He saw my original Aya figure on my DeviantArt gallery and fell in love with it. He offered to buy her off of me. And although I do still have this figure, the fact of the matter is she doesn't look like this anymore. I made that figure a few years ago, so she's faded a bit, and I still used Super Sculpey back then, which is showing signs of cracking, especially on the legs. So I told him that if I were to sell that figure, I'd have to rebuild it. And if I was going to rebuild it, then I may as well make him a brand new one, with the advantage of using a white tiger instead of the old cheetah figure. White Tiger, being a Marvel Legends buck, has a better size for Aya, which is slightly shorter, and it just has far better articulation, being a more recent figure from, frankly, a better line. Because, in terms of sculpt and articulation, Marvel Legends has always been superior to DCUC. That's just a cold hard fact, I'm afraid to say. So, after some thought, he opted for the brand new figure. So, let's take this White Tiger and make it into Aya. One great advantage of the Marvel Legends 6-inch female buck is that it can be pretty much completely dismantled. This makes resculpting and painting super easy. Although I did swap out White Tiger's head with a Gwen because, Aya has a face and White Tiger doesn't. I just have to take the hair off. So with the hair removed, it was just sculpting on a new helmet, which, I've done this twice before, so I'm starting to get pretty good at it. And then a simple paint job. One of the eyes was a little bit off center after I took this photo, so I kind of repainted the eye, so when you see the final image, it's going to look less derpy than this. Another great benefit of the White Tiger figure is that it's naturally white, so I don't have to paint it white. I just had to get rid of her tiger striping. I accomplished this task with pure acetone. Pure acetone is basically industrial nail polish remover. Most nail polish removers are scented and diluted, but I bought the pure stuff because I'm not worrying about ruining my skin. I'm just trying to strip paint off of stuff. Now you got to be careful with pure acetone, as that stuff is literally made to dissolve plastic. So I just used a tiny bit on a cotton swab, and I just wiped that, the stripes until they disappeared. Now, the funny thing is, I did use my mother's nail polish remover for the first time, and it took me several minutes of hard rubbing to finally get it to fade away. So that's why I bought the pure acetone. And I was surprised when the thing came off as if it had been painted on with one of those dry erase markers. Be very careful with this stuff. That made it, of course, really easy to repaint Aya's body after this part. Her torso is pretty much all repainting, so as are most of her legs. So the sculpting actually kicks in down on her shins, where the bootcut swivel was. As we all know, Aya's major design feature, we should say, is the big armor that she has on her forearms and shins. So, of course, that has to be sculpted in. Now, with the legs, I decided to leave the original feet intact. I know that this isn't completely screen accurate, but it does afford her better articulation because the feet on this thing are really good. They have a swivel foot, so she can stand in wide-legged stances, and she has back and forth. It's a really good foot for standing on, and I didn't want to mess that up. So, we're not going full cartoon accuracy because I'm using a Marvel Legends, so I figured, may as well. Same with the arms. I did sacrifice articulation of the hands in order to have a more accurate thing, but that's just, there's no way you can give Aya wrists and also give her that particular kind of armor gauntlet, unless you specifically sculpted wrists onto the armor gauntlet, which I do not have the capability of doing because this is epoxy sculpt and not injection molded plastic. Although those are White Tiger's original fingers, I cut them off of her hands and stuck them onto the ends of the armor I sculpted in very much the same way that I did for April O'Neil's hands when I made the cartoon-accurate Aya from a while ago. So, with all of the painting done, that just means it's time to take a look at our completed Aya figure. And there is Aya. She actually looks really good, and I think that using a Marvel Legends figure actually creates something that looks more screen accurate than the DCUC line could ever do. I don't know, I guess it's just slightly different proportions and the fact that it's a little bit shorter. I mean, it doesn't look quite as much like the April O'Neil figure I repurposed, but we'll see that in a second. Unfortunately, she still has paint peel off in the shoulders because, you know, pin discs can't really be painted. They're made out of a different kind of plastic that's just not plain not paintable. But fortunately, that's really the only joint that she has that I had to paint, so you won't have to worry about it in her elbows or her knees, and her hips should be pretty good as long as you don't scrape them against her pants too badly. So yeah, that is a completed Aya. And this crazy jazz hands pose is just to show off the superior articulation of the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Legends book, as opposed to a DCUC. So, quick comparison. Here's the new Aya standing next to my original one, and here she is standing next to the cartoon accurate one that I made out of April O'Neil. So, yeah, that just for you folks that might have been curious about that. All right, glad to have finally got out another custom video. Hopefully, the next one will be soon as well. See you all next time. This is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.